LaserDicks, you sexy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Hey, and everybody, welcome to another episode of LaserDicks. I'm Chris.
And I'm Ken.
And today, we're talking about Disney movies.
Yes.
That's right. Two grown men talking about wonderful, classic, mostly animated Disney movies from our youth and other people's youths, because some of these are really old.
I mean, I never grew up. Did you grow up?
Nah, I mean, that's why I collect LaserDiscs.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I have the more extensive LaserDisc collection, or well, at least in general, but for Disney movies. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to let Ken talk about what he brought today first, just because my stuff, I'm probably going to end up like rambling, and I want to make sure we get to your stuff before we run out of time. So Ken, go right ahead.
Well, thank you, sir. Yeah, because I mainly got some of my favorite movies from like back in the day. Like you've got like the special editions. Mm-hmm. You've got the like more extensive like bonus features.
The things that really made it worth buying the LaserDisc.
Exactly. For myself, I just chose my favorite. So like for example, the all-time favorite movie of mine from Disney is a Goofy movie. Like even after like, you know, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, like all those classics, like to date, because of Goofy and his relationship with his son, like I had draw parallels to like my dad and my relationship with him. So at the end of the day, I could watch this movie till I'm dead.
You know, I could see you being Max, is it?
Yeah, it's Max.
Yeah, I could. I've never met your dad, so I don't know how accurate Goofy is to him, but you are totally Max.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the comparison is he still makes Skizzers jokes, and like all those dad jokes you read about a Bun Tumblr,
right?
He makes those on a daily basis.
You know, I've always said that I'm going to be a great dad someday, mostly because of my aptitude to make bad dad jokes.
I think we have it in all, because I mean, like as soon as I read those, I'm like, these are genuinely funny. What's
yeah,
the deal?
Right. Why do people hate them?
Exactly. So
then again, I love puns too. So
I mean,
and Wild Wild West.
Wait, the movie?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a good movie.
Thank you.
Big
Thank
Willie
you.
Styles.
Thank you. The guys on Geek Out, you know, the Catching Up, they always shit on me for liking Wild West.
I mean, the climax is literally this giant like spider mech. That's awesome.
Anyway.
Okay, sorry.
Goofy movie.
That's not a Disney movie. But yeah, there's nothing too crazy about the LaserDisc release. But fun fact, did you know that we didn't actually have a widescreen release of this movie until the LaserDisc?
You know, that happened with a lot, because widescreen wasn't really a thing, and then like that was one of the things that they started doing with LaserDiscs to make it like special. They were like, oh well, if you get the LaserDisc, you get the widescreen version.
Exactly. But what's funny is not even the DVD had the widescreen version. It just had the 4:3.
Really?
Yeah. like when I went out into I'm not condoning downloading, but out in the wild world of downloading, they actually had to get the European DVD copy because that was the only one that had the widescreen version. So
that's kind of like the Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV series. For the latter seasons after Angel split off and did its own thing, both series were shot in widescreen, but in order to, in want to keep it consistent, Joss Whedon still presented the TV show for Buffy in 4:3. The Angel, they were like, oh well, since it's starting season 1, it can be widescreen for all for all it wants. But Buffy stays 4:3 for the rest of its run for the last. It went 8 seasons, I think. So, and then the DVDs came out. Same thing. U.S. seasons 4 through 8. You can only get it 4:3. You have to get the European release to get widescreen because he had less control over the European. Netflix uses the European rips though, because you can see it on widescreen on Netflix, and there's several times where you're like, I should be watching this in 4:3 because knowing quote unquote air quotes that it was going to be presented in 4:3. Joss Whedon let a lot of things slip in the sides. Like you see crew members every once in a while. Yeah, you see the barn doors closed on the camera on certain outdoor shots just to keep the sunlight out, because he's like, no one's going to see these sides.
That's fucking funny.
So just take that, Europe.
Seriously. But yeah, other than that, I mean, nothing too crazy about this. Just like I really love this movie, and as a lot of Disney back page art. I mean, you've got the classic covers, but then you got like the weird airbrushed like these are obviously not done by the
Oh yeah,
people
that looks like a completely different studio.
Exactly. Like that he looks like he's gazing into the depths of hell right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think a lot of the Disney ones that I have this weird kind of style in the back. So,
where the back cover was kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
And probably and clearly didn't put as much time and effort or money into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then the second one I got here, the Rescuers Down Under.
My preferred film of the series.
Yeah. Like honestly, like I grew up watching both.
Mm-hmm.
But the first one always felt like it was dark and like it felt dated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I forget what year it came out, but like it was
I think I want to say it was 80s.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit. Well, you may be right.
Who knows?
You may be right.
It was. I want to say it was during that time period where all of Disney movies were just kind of like dark and gritty, like visually, like not even thematically or anything like that.
Well, that was probably because of the Xerox era.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I want to say, like, it's been a long time since I've seen the first Rescuers, actually Down Under as well. But like I want to say it was part of the Xerox era.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Now, and for those that don't know about the Xerox era, there was a time for Disney movies like to save on production cost and time instead of
hiring an inker.
Yeah, they would actually just take the pencil sketches and Xerox them and photocopy them instead of getting somebody to do the hard lines. So that's why 101 Dalmatians, The Great Mouse Detective, a couple other movies, if you look, like the edges aren't as like not crisp, but like I like it.
And there's a lot of noise too.
Yeah.
Because you can't get a clean Xerox.
Exactly.
You know, or at least not as clean as just someone going over it in pen.
Exactly. Yeah. But I kind of like that. I like it. Like it's a rough,
cool
style.
It was a very cool. It was like the Bronze Age or the Silver Age. You know, it was the Xerox age, and I liked that some of the movies even kind of reflected that. Like, like 101 Dalmatians always felt dirty, and like the storyline kind of. You know, like it was in a very dirty part of London, you know.
Exactly.
And you know, and there was that whole thing where the dogs were covered in soot, and that's how they, you know, escaped. You know, so it worked.
Exactly. So I don't think this one was still in the Xerox era because this movie is beautiful.
Yeah, no, it is crisp.
Yeah, like I popped this in one night just because like I fondly remember like this movie looking great, and since I only had the VHS back then, I only had the 4:3. Watching this in widescreen, just seeing the eagle just spread its wings is fantastic. Like it's one of my favorite visual Disney movies to watch. I mean, there's a couple other that are you would say that Disney movies pride themselves, at least in the past, on like characters and, you know, story.
For sure.
Whereas, you know, it's not very often that you get a visual movie. Like The Lion King for sure was very visual.
Yeah, that was one of the first like super visual movies. That and like Beauty and the Beast. You know, where they like started waggling their dick about like, oh, look at how cool the visuals are.
Well, yeah, that was the first. Wasn't it the first one that started doing CG? Because that whole little ballroom.
And we'll get to that because I have Beauty and the Beast in my stockpile. So we'll talk all about that. Don't worry, kids.
Well, yeah, because that was about to mention. That's the other one that I have that I didn't bring with me. The Beauty and the Beast Work in Progress edition.
Yes, and which is the same version that I have.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But that's I love that version. Other than that, I did bring along this one. Way back when, I used to have a lot of these. Disney did the whole like Disney music sing-along VHS releases.
I remember those.
Like I don't know if it was monthly. It would have been monthly. They would have too many, but like
I think they did it quarterly.
Quarterly? Okay. Yeah. But it was a selection.
I remember several times being fooled, like going into like the video store and being like, oh, they already have like The Lion King out on VHS, let's get it. And my mom's like, it's the sing-along. It has like one of the songs from Lion King and then like 12 songs that you don't even give a shit about. And I was like, damn, why did my mom say shit to me when I was 8?
So inappropriate.
Yeah.
But no, I have fond memories of those because like that was a cool way for like both kids and adults to like, hey kids, this isn't out on VHS right now, but I grew up with this movie. Check out this song from it.
Yeah.
And they could mix in some live action songs from older Disney movies. I really like those tapes. Now, this isn't from that line, but it's in that spirit. This was like a collection of Disney Christmas clips and music. So we've got like Bambi, Cinderella, Sword in the Stone, Peter Pan. There was a couple of action sequences in here, and a couple of short Disney music videos that it might have been just paired up like as a short in the beginning of the movie. They used to do that a lot.
Yeah, and they still do it.
Well, I know.
Pixar does it for sure.
I think they stopped for a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, I take that back because the front. Now, I never saw a Goofy movie in theaters.
I did.
But do you remember the short they had before that?
I do not.
It's called Runaway Brain, and it's the most fantastic looking short.
Oh, Mickey, the Mickey Mouse and the Runaway Brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually have seen that because one of the theaters that I worked at randomly still had the reel of film.
Oh my god!
Yeah, actually 2 copies, and they were like pristine. And I was like, "What the hell is this?" So I threaded it up one day, and I was like, oh, "This is amazing!" And like, I think watching it, I was like, "Oh, I remember. I've definitely seen this before." So I guess that's where I saw it. In front of Goofy.
Exactly.
Is it on the LaserDisc?
No, I don't think because I never saw it until like the YouTube came out. But then I read up on the Wikipedia, like, "Hey, where did this short come from?" Oh, it came from the beginning of Goofy movie. So no, I don't think. No, just program start. Yeah, no, it's not on here. Yeah, it would have been nice.
Unless it's hidden under "quote unquote" program start.
Exactly.
Because why not say opening credits or something? Nope, program start. Because this is the future. It's LaserDiscs.
Digital age.
Even though it's still analog.
Well, fun Disney story. Like the whole reason I looked up Runaway Brain was that so I'm playing this game Kingdom Hearts,
right? Which was kind of the measuring stick for what movies we would allow on this program.
Exactly,
because I have, as we'll get to, I have Tron, and I'm like, is it really a Disney movie? But it's in Kingdom Hearts, so that was what was fine. That and the fact that it's a really cool box set. We're like
in Kingdom Hearts twice.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, cool, we will put it in.
Exactly. No, for whatever reason, Japan has a really weird taste in Disney movies, so that reflects in like the worlds that they select.
I believe they have a weird taste in everything.
That's true. That's true. I mean, when you got body pillows and boy, and fun stuff.
Panty vending machines.
They're fresh on Saturdays.
I did not know that, and I don't think I needed to know that, but thank you anyway.
Take them on lunch to the grave.
You heard it here first, LaserDicks fans.
But so I'm playing Kingdom Hearts on the 3DS, and one of the hidden sub bosses is a large fat Pete called Julius, and I'm like, why is he called Julius, and why does he have electrodes? So I looked it up, and I looked it's from the short Runaway Brain. I'm like, well, what is this short Runaway Brain? And I look it up, and lo and behold, it's this fantastic short where they have Pete as like a zombie switching brains with Mickey. And look it up on YouTube. It's one of the better looking Disney shorts.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic.
And not until they started doing the new modern Mickey Mouse ones did they start getting really good looking animation like that. And I'm a big fan of those, by the way. Those are really some cool shorts. But other than that, I mean, the only reason really I brought over this Disney Christmas gift short was they have a fun scene with Arthur with Sword in the Stone, where it's near the end of the movie, and Arthur comes in, he tells Merlin, "Hey, I'm a page now," and it's Merlin chewing him out. It's like, no, you're not seeing yourself up to the potential.
Right.
And had this been closer to Christmas, I would have loved to share the story of, hey, we should just replace the audio with Rick and Morty, because it's exactly what that scene plays out. Rick is,
hey, come on, Arthur,
you're not living your full potential. Oh, jeez. Merlin, that's the name. Oh, geez, Merlin, you really know how to take a guy down, I mean, I'm trying my best here. No, you're not doing good enough. So fly me to Bermuda. So that's exactly what I thought of when I popped this in after all this time.
Very cool.
But that's my stack.
Yeah.
Let's move over to the big.
Yeah, I know, right? I have close to 10 movies here, so a couple of them will breeze through. So the first one, I basically have these in alphabetical order, so that's how we're going to do this. Okay. First one I have here is Aladdin, and this is the special CAV letterbox edition. I can't remember if we've gone over it before or not, but CAV is the higher quality, CLV is the lower quality, but still pretty money. Now, this is a very nice... very lovely LaserDisc that I have here. It's nice, high quality. I mean, it's CAV, so it's 2 discs long, and I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it utilizes all 4 sides.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, this is I think I mentioned this in the first episode with my original 10 LaserDiscs. This is one of the ones that got damaged by the cooking oil, so I don't get to open it up and look at the bifold anymore, the stuff that's inside, because it all stuck together. And then the first time I tried to open it up, it like tore half the picture on one side. So now I just leave it in the plastic. The discs still work just fine.
So I can the disc have protected, yeah.
Exactly. So I can just I can still pop it in if I want to watch it. And I remember Aladdin was one of those movies that I loved right from the get go, and I could still pop it in, watch it whenever I wanted to. So it's really nice to have it on a high quality Laserdisc like this.
Oh yeah, I mean, before a Goofy movie like this, hands down, like I had an Aladdin costume growing up for Halloween.
There you go.
Like, you know,
my friend Zach, who I don't know if you listen to this podcast, but I know you big fan of Catching Up. Zach, he was Jafar in a live stage production of Aladdin in like high school or something like that. And if you go onto his Facebook, you can see him all goofied up or Jafar'd up. Gorsh.
Man, I'm jealous. I would not mind being a villain.
Yeah, villains are so fun. Moving right along, we got the aforementioned work in progress print of Beauty and the Beast, and I actually queued this up for one of my friends a couple weeks ago because she's a huge Disney nut and she had never seen this before. And also I was just like, I got a lot of cool Disney movies on LaserDisc. You want to come over sometime and check them out? With like no subtext. Like I just legitimately wanted to watch LaserDisc movies, and why not, since she likes Disney. But so one of the big things with Beauty and the Beast, like we were mentioning when Ken brought it up earlier, this was one of the first movies one of the first animated movies that Disney did that was really high-end visuals. And I think they hit a snag in production. Or not so much a snag, but like they focused so much on like the digital stuff that it was getting close to presentation time. So they were like, okay, we're gonna push back the release date so that we can finish up the rest of the hand drawn stuff. But to kind of exhibit something, they were like, okay, well, we've thrown together this edit of the movie that is all the heavy visual effects shots, like the ballroom and stuff like that, they're all completed and they look beautiful. And then everything in between is either like rough sketches or storyboards or like animatics, if you know the difference between those three things, because they are mildly different.
The storyboards are usually just still images. The animatics
are basically storyboards that have animation to like one character or two characters if they're interacting will have rough animation, like 5-frame animation versus 24-frame animation, something like that. And then they'll have like the sketches where it's basically all animated but hasn't been colored yet. And then there's ones that are full colored. It ranges very highly. And like if you love Beauty and the Beast, it's a great watch. If it's your first time ever seeing Beauty and the Beast, I would recommend against it because it's very distracting to, like, there's almost no rhyme or reason to when it switches. Exactly. You see just like how movies aren't filmed linearly, you see that animated movies aren't as well, which actually was something that surprised me. I was like, well, it's an animated movie. Why wouldn't they do it, linearly? Because
well, I mean, there's edits constantly.
Yeah, and also like with this one, I understand like doing the CGI stuff first, but like in my brain, not really thinking about it for more than 2 seconds. It's just like, well, yeah, you start drawing at the beginning and finish drawing at the end. Why not? Why wouldn't you? But like I can understand now watching that. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm sure you run into the same types of problems that you run into filming live action. Why you wouldn't want to do something linear, or why you would, because like The Shining was all shot linearly because he wanted the actors to really feel the time taking place, and stuff like that. So that's Beauty and the Beast, and it's lovely. It's CAV as well. And then I have The Little Mermaid, which was, I want to say this is like the first Disney movie that I remember seeing.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you, because like when
it's about our age.
Yeah,
and I think it was 89.
Yeah, and I was born in 88, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, like, because I remember moving into my new house. That was like one of my first early memories. I had this on VHS, clutching it as we walked in the house and found a strange man fixing our tub.
Weird.
I just buried that.
And never bring it up again. But yeah, so this is a nice, it's a nice CAV video disc. I'm trying to see. I don't think I've popped this in. I'm trying to see if it's widescreen or not, because it doesn't say in big letters on the front cover. So I guess it's probably not. Although I don't see why it would be CAV and not widescreen.
Yeah, those two kind of count.
Yeah, but
especially if this is deluxe.
Yeah, but there's nothing on here that says widescreen that I saw. So maybe it's not. Maybe I should have popped this in and done some research before.
Seriously, aren't you prepared for these things?
Yeah, I mean, oddly enough, no. Other than it being CAV, the one thing that I like to tote around is that it has the penis cover.
I still don't see that.
Yeah, right. So I remember when I first heard about that, I busted out our VHS, our clamshell VHS, probably the same one that you had, and it has the same cover. And I was like, oh, I totally see the penis. And now that I have it on LaserDisc, now that I'm an adult, I'm not immature, I'm like, well, I mean, no. It looks like a spire, and someone who doesn't understand their own libido, and which is typically the nannies of the world.
Yep.
I could see someone misconstruing it as a penis, but I'm team Walt Disney on this one, and I'm saying it's not a dick.
Yeah.
You're seeing things if you see a dick there, and you should probably relieve some of that sexual tension.
This looks like one of Mommy's special toys.
Now, see, I could see it being like a plain dildo.
Yeah.
If you wanted to throw that out. But then again, if that's the case, the entire castle is weird dildos.
I wouldn't want to stick any of those in my body. Some of them are very pointy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different strokes for different folks.
That's true.
Moving on. This is a Disney podcast. So next I have the exclusive archive collection, which is kind of like the big thing that it's... without doing any research, because that's not my style, I'm going to go ahead and say that the exclusive archive collection is like Disney's version of Criterion Collection, because all the box sets that we're about to get into have either that wording or some sort of something similar. They all have archive in them. Basically.
Well, Disney would always put things in the Disney Vault. Yeah. So I would imagine that, the second time coming out, they were like, hey, this is the definitive.
Right. And it really is. This is, I forget if I've already said the title or not, but it's Mary Poppins. Ooh. It's the exclusive archive collection of Mary Poppins. And it has so many special features on it. I mean, you got behind the scenes stuff on how they did, the special effects, with the chalk, drawing and stuff like that. You get side-by-side storyboard and film comparisons, set design sketches, conceptual drawings, the trailer, which happens a lot in LaserDiscs. But yeah, nice. But yeah, and it's in the original 1.661, which is a odd not anamorphic, but it's an odd widescreen. Yeah. Normally you're 183 or 235 by 1, and then 133 is 4 by 3. So 166 by 1 is a unique one. That's what my RoboCop Criterion Collection LaserDisc is in, which looks better than the Blu-ray.
So you say?
Well, that's and that's more so the shortcomings of the Blu-ray versus the erection of the LaserDisc, just to quell that real quick. But it does look money. I watched it the other day, and I will probably want to do a whole episode on that, or maybe mix in that and the Terminator, because I have the second Terminator and I have the first one on its way. So
I don't think I've seen the first one all the way through.
You should watch it when I get it.
We're gonna have a fun night. We can sleep over.
Yeah. All right. So Mary Poppins is awesome. It's beautiful. And then here, the next three we have are the serious pound me in the ass box sets that I have from Disney.
Don't mind if I do.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to start with, oddly enough, the least liked Disney movie from a lot of my peers. Whenever I tell them I have this one, they're like, "Ooh, why? This one is the one that traumatized me as a child." And I'm like, and after watching it again, I'm like, "Oh right, when I got this, I watched it and I was like, I forgot like half the things that happen in this movie.
Oh God!
And if you've already figured it out, good on you. It's Pinocchio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seeing kids get turned into donkeys is terrifying.
Eaten by whales.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, you're right. This is a dark movie.
Yeah. But the LaserDisc is amazing.
It is not dark.
Yeah, it is the deluxe CAV, archive edition, and it comes with a movie, which I believe, which is split onto 4 discs because it's CAV, or not 4 discs. I'm sorry, 4 sides, 2 discs. And then you get a special supplementary LaserDisc, which is all the making of a masterpiece. So it's like a second VHS for those of us that remember VHSs. That's just like behind the scenes look at how they made it. A lot of cool videos watching people draw stuff. And then there's more. Then when you get this cool ass booklet that basically takes the third disc, the making of, and puts it into print form, and you get these awesome huge lithographs in the book. So I guess they're prints when they're not by themselves, of like the cityscape, and you see how wide it is, and you get to see a lot of these like cool sketches. These are the artists working on what they're doing. 2 guys posing against each other to get the drawings correct. You see stuff about the voice actors. It still smells new too, because I don't the guy that I bought it from, I don't think opened this up at all. Like I think like he had cut the plastic to make sure that he could watch it, but like I don't think he touched the booklet and stuff.
Oh wow.
Which is great because that means he didn't steal my lithograph too.
Nice.
Yeah, which I think happened to my Fantasia, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But I got this nice lithograph of was this the first appearance of
No, I think that's near the because it does not look like a ship. I think that's on the ship.
It might be no, this is when he escapes from the, I don't know. Anyway,
it's a point in the movie.
Yeah, it's when Pinocchio is in the cage and the fairy godmother comes to help rescue him out of it. And he's lied several times, so his nose is big. But it's right. And then I also get a CD of the soundtrack, which I haven't opened yet because who needs CDs? They're obsolete. Yeah, pause for laughter when everyone realizes that we're doing a LaserDisc show.
Insert Ken laughter here.
Right? Exactly. Insert Ken laughter.
Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha.
So, let's see. Which one do I want to do first? You know what? This is kind of... Well, this is my coup de grace. So, okay. I'll jump ahead to Tron, the fringe Disney movie, because the only reason why it's a Disney movie is because when they were shopping it around, Disney was the only one that would throw money at it. It's not really, in my opinion, it's not really a Disney movie. It's kind of like what like the Marvel and the Star Wars movies are now. Like they're under the Disney umbrella, but they're not like Pinocchio. They're not Mickey Mouse, although there is a hidden Mickey in Tron.
Well, see something too, like
which you can only see in the widescreen version.
Well, something too, they didn't put it under their Buena Vista Publishing, and that was usually what they did for all their live action stuff, like in the 90s.
Yeah, but also, if I remember correctly, Disney didn't actually put their name on it until it was a hit. Like now, the home video is Disney's Tron, but like when it was in theaters, it was just Tron, and then like down in the bottom, it was like Disney. Produced by Disney, or like they had like the Walt Disney logo at the beginning, but like but it was one of those things like, this is a Disney movie. But I mean, then again, I'm not old enough to have seen it in theaters, so who knows? I might be wrong. But so this is a pretty cool box set. It's another exclusive archive collection, and it's CAV widescreen, and it's beautiful. They have a booklet, but it's really just a glorified bifold. Which is still awesome. These pictures are beautiful. You get a couple sketches, you get a couple screenshots, and you get the same kind of like 2-page write-up that you would get in a bifold. And then it's split across, 2 discs?
Yeah.
And they use all 4 sides, and then they have a third disc that uses both sides for supplemental material, which is really cool. A lot of background information on the making of, and then like the kind of research they did onto how computers worked at that time. And then one of my favorite features of the Tron LaserDisc was something that I don't even see that often nowadays, even with Blu-rays and DVDs. You have the option of doing not just commentary, because you can do commentary on this one, but you can also do music and sound effects only.
So
and
that's pretty unique.
It's really cool. And like I've seen it a couple times. I think The Matrix did it, or one of the Matrix movies did it.
Seems like a weird choice because they're plot-heavy movies.
Yeah, but they also had really cool music, and I think they wanted to show off their Foley artist. But like, I remember like Matrix Reloaded had like a money soundtrack, so I think they wanted to show off.
Okay.
And then finally, the aforementioned coup de grace is Walt Disney's masterpiece.
I feel like if you have a LaserDisc collection going, this is like the visual and audio, like
it really is.
Like you need this in your collection,
and it is Fantasia, or Fantasia. I like to be weird and pronounce things weirdly. So this is ridiculous for a box set, in my opinion. Ridiculous good, because I'm holding in my hands 3 discs. You see them, Ken?
I see them in your hand.
3 discs. Yeah. They're all CAV quality, and literally all 3 of them are full. Except, I did just notice side 6 is extended play, which means it's CLV. So that's a shame for the Mountain the devil one. I wish I had remembered what it was called. The final.
See if he's in there, because I need.
I know it is. It's a
Phantasm.
It is Night on Bald Mountain.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the scary. He does, but I mean, I could sit here and read this for like 20 minutes and figure it out. But yeah,
I think it's like Phantasmial or something.
Here,
yeah. I'll take it. You can talk about it. I'll take it.
So the awesome thing about this box set, beyond it just being that high quality that they had to split it off into 3 full discs, is that with it you get one of these huge booklets that the Disney exclusive releases were known for, but you literally get so much information for each song, each movement, if I may. You get basically the equivalent of like a back cover write up for an entire movie for each individual song. And I wish I had messaged my friend Mary before doing this, because she's like a huge Fantasia nut, and I wanted to. I just remembered to point out that it's actually narrated by. Oh, does this have it?
What's that?
With no, that's just the conductor, Leopold. But the narrator is the original narrator of the thing. In later releases, they overdubbed it with another guy. And I wish I could remember names, but I do not. But this version is the original theatrical version that does have the original narrator.
Okay.
Did you find the name? Did I ruin it by
no?
changing?
Like it's basically they're just making illusions that he's like Beelzebub or like the devil. Like I know he's got a name. Like they gave him a name.
Again, my friend Mary would know this. Sorry, Mary, I failed you.
Either that, or they gave him a name only in Kingdom Hearts.
Maybe.
But I know they gave him a name specifically for that.
I'm
fight.
sure if anyone knows it,
your friend
Mary does. Because the whole reason why I bought this was just because she's such a nut for it, and I saw it and I was like, oh, it's a LaserDisc. Oh, and it's like a huge box set, and it was only like $20, and I was like, fuck yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've got that on VHS.
Yeah.
It's a pretty similar release. The only thing is I've got my lithographs.
Yeah. So this is the one I think previous owner stole the lithograph. I mean, the box you can see right here is pretty banged up, so unlike the Pinocchio, which still has plastic wrapped around it.
Oh. Yeah, I like this kind of cardboard for the
Yeah,
Pinocchio.
me too. It's very thick. Yeah, very tough.
Just the way you like them.
Yeah. And that's another cool thing about these exclusive archive editions. Like they put a lot of care into the box too. It's not just a thin cardboard sleeve, but actually like a legit box that these box sets are in, and so that's cool. And I'm really glad that Walt Disney, or the Walt Disney Company, tried to put so much money into LaserDiscs. Unfortunately, it didn't work out in the long run, but neither did DVDs. So take that.
Well, I mean, I would still say DVDs are successful, but with LaserDiscs, I would say they are, especially because these were aimed toward the audiovisual fan.
Yeah, and collectors.
Yeah, so that's why they had all these special edition like bonus materials, because like those weren't on VHSs.
No, and Disney was one of the few companies that was putting this much effort into LaserDiscs too.
Yeah. Look, the only other company, like at least animation-wise, that I saw do a lot of this stuff was who's Don Bluth's company for Fievel? Who put out Fievel?
I don't know.
American Tail. Was it 20? It wasn't 20.
Paramount?
Might have been Paramount.
Yeah,
I'll have to look that up. But
way to not do your research.
I mean, I didn't know I was going to reference Fievel. Like,
right? That's what I like about this. It's very off the cuff.
Exactly. But Fievel is one of my favorite animated films, and when I watched on LaserDisc, it actually had at the very end, it would pause it and let you do a frame by frame of all these cool like behind the scenes photos. It didn't have video reels.
Yeah.
But at least could let you do a frame by frame because most LaserDisc players.
My Ghostbusters does that too.
Exactly. Like they've had like, hey, look, we're sketching out a dude, and every other frame was like, here's what you're about to see. It's such and such doing a thing.
Very cool.
I liked it.
Yeah. So that's Disney. So thank you, Walt. Thank you. Who was running Disney at this time? Eisner? I guess. Thanks, Eisner.
I'm not up to date with my Disney CEOs.
Right. I mean, I know Walt was already out by the 80s, which is when all of these would have come out. Or the 90s.
He was around for Mary Poppins.
But not the LaserDisc release of Mary Poppins. So, that's Disney. Do we have a sign-off? We haven't done this show in so long.
God, yeah. Wait,
we have a theme song.
We have a theme song. I don't know. Do you want to make up a sign-off?
We could.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.